So today is going to be quite an interesting and challenging day. As you can see, I'm very blue. I didn't change the white balance on my camera. It's just because I'm standing right in front of a window and it is like dark outside almost. Even though it is 9:15, session starts at 10, but it's just very blue outside. Doesn't matter. I have studio lights here, which are actually not really fancy studio lights, but just two simple speed lights. And okay, so I'm going to show you my light setup later. But today it can be one of the challenging sessions I've ever done, like as far as photo sessions, because you can probably already read it in the description. I'm going to do a cake smash session with twins. And not just twins turning 1 year old. No, these are twins turning 2 years old. 2 years old is usually quite a challenging age to photograph, because if they don't want to, you know, participate and cooperate, you can jump as high as you want, try to bribe them, but a no can be a no and stay a no for a very long time. And then we have two-year-olds today here in the studio. We're gonna try and get some photos of them eating cake. It's a boy and a girl. It might go very smooth and easy. It might be a little challenging. We're about to find out. But first, let's create some decor and set up. So here you can have already a sneak peek at the cake, but I still have to set it up better. But these, it's like a little garland thingy. I bought it at a local garden center. I have these 3 golden hoops, some invisible thread, scissors, and this green stuff. Okay, so the garland consists of 3 strings. So I'm just gonna cut them separately, if I can. Yeah. The smallest one will be on the smallest hoop, the longer one on the longer hoop. Okay, so this is the background now. I think it looks really pretty. They do keep turning around like the circles, but I think it's okay. So now it's time to put the cake on the stand. So here you see a close-up of the cake, and then here is the decor. And then here's the pullback as far as light. I want to have light coming from almost both sides, but not as strong. Let me explain. Okay, so in this case, because I'm photographing 2 children, I want both of the kids to be sharp and in focus, which means that I will be shooting with a smaller aperture. So I will go, instead of photographing at f3.5, I'll probably go to 4.5, even 5 or 5.6, depending on whether they're sitting on one line facing the camera, or one is a little bit more to the front, or one is a little bit more to the back. I want them to sit from the same, like at the same distance from the camera, so I have them both in focus and still kind of get a blurry background. But yeah, it's better to get both kids in focus. I will take individual shots together. So first we're going to start the session with some portrait photos. So I'll start with the kids individually. Then we might do a family photo, and then they get to change for the cake. They're gonna eat one cake, like the 2 kids are gonna eat the cake together, which means that I can take a lot of photos of the kids together eating the cake. But while they're eating the cake together, I'm also going to try to get individual shots just of their faces, try to get shots of their feet. Yeah, so just variation, photos from the top, different angles. I really hope they're excited to eat the cake. I really hope they're gonna stay seated instead of like run away. Because yeah, a 1-year-old sometimes cannot walk yet. They can crawl, but with the cake in between their legs, they will stay seated pretty much when they're eating the cake. Like I sometimes have a few 1-year-olds which will yeah, push away the cake and then start crawling away, but they're not as fast yet, and they're so fascinated by the cake that they usually stay seated and it's quite easy to take photos. With a 2-year-old, they can run, they can jump, they can scream, they can shout. So I don't know if they're gonna stay seated. I don't know if they want to eat the cake. If one starts throwing a fit, maybe the other one will, you know, just join in. And then I have no idea how this is gonna go. So just as a backup plan, I'm gonna have my little bench from made.com. I'm gonna place it in front of just an off-white background. So maybe I can have them together in photos as well on the little bench with parents on each side in case they want to jump off. I have no idea how this is gonna go. And maybe the kids can take a bet individually. If the cake really didn't work and we still want to have some cute photos of the kids, we'll just keep that as a backup plan. But usually I skip the bath when it's a 2-year-old because it's more cute with a 1-year-old. Otherwise they get too big to be photographed in a bathtub, I think. I don't know. But anyway, so I have one softbox on the side with the main light, and then the other one is bouncing off the ceiling as a fill light. And I might crank that one up to 1/32 instead of 1/64 because I want to have light falling on both kids and not just the child that is closest towards the softbox, and then the other one will be kind of like sitting in the dark, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I'm gonna continue setting up. So yeah, even though I have kids of my own, sometimes it's still quite hard for me to judge how big a 2-year-old is. Like, are they gonna sit on the small little curved bench, or is that too small for them? Are they gonna sit on this green little chair, or is that chair too big for them? So I will just wait until they get here to see how big they actually are, and what would work well to sit on for the portrait photos. But I might use this one. Yeah, I just wanted to add that because I might have to extend the background in Photoshop because I have 2 kids, you know, they take up more space. My backgrounds are only 2 meters wide. If you're photographing twins, especially if they're above 1-year-old, I would advise to get, I don't know, 3-meter wide background. I don't have it here, so I'm just gonna work with what I have. But then if I would use like a banner, which goes from one side to the background to the other side of the background, you know, with these little triangle flags hanging on it, and then I want to extend my background, it's just a nightmare because then you have to like copy all the flags so the banner continues. Right now, because I've just created decor in the middle of the background and I have space around it, it's easy for me to just paint some more creamy white here and then paint some more creamy white here, and I can just leave the garland thingy, the circles that are hanging in the back, intact, and I don't have to like extend banners and everything. So that's a tip. If you already know that you have to extend your background in Photoshop, make sure that there is like even colors on the side and that you can just paintbrush it. we ran a little bit late, so I actually have to pack up now and head over to my daughter's school to help out. But it went really well. At the beginning, the portrait photos were quite a disaster because, well, the little boy came in crying and he wouldn't stop crying for like 15-20 minutes. So his grandmother couldn't calm him down, his mom couldn't calm him down. He was a little bit upset. And then yeah, so we just skipped the portrait photos at the beginning because the girl, she was, yeah, quite serious during the portrait photos. I could take photos, but she was not smiling at all. So, and because he was crying so much, we thought we would just give him the cake and see what would happen. So we gave them the cake, and the boy actually calmed down and he was quite interested in eating the cake, which was great. Then the girl at first didn't want to eat the cake, but then she saw her brother eating the cake, and we gave them spoons because you could see that they didn't want to get their hands dirty. So spoons can be a good idea. So after giving spoons and like giving her some bites, like the dad came over as well and he was helping, like feeding her a little bit. And then they started eating, and I have so many photos of them eating together individually. But yeah, 2-year-olds can be quite challenging, so take your time. Don't plan a session straight after the cake smash session because it can take an hour and a half instead of like 45 minutes, which was today. Well, not really an hour and a half, but at least it took us more time than what it usually takes me. Make sure that you can extend your background. So at some point I moved a little bit of the paper decoration away from the edges because I know it's going to be easier for me to extend the background without the fluffy balls on the edges of the background, because then you have to, like, you know, edit around it kind of. So yeah, I think I have great photos. I have photos of them individually and together, and I'm gonna get out of here right now. I think the decor looks really nice. They really loved it. So that's great. So I'm gonna use it more often, hopefully. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do a lot more cake smashes with 2-year-olds because it's just quite a challenging age to do a cake smash with, to do photo sessions with in the studio. Like with 2-year-olds, I rather meet outside. They can run around, the parents can lift them up in the air, they can just walk holding hands. You have a lot more space, so they usually feel more at ease. While in the studio, it's quite intimidating to have like light stands and soft boxes. So like from 0 to 1-year-old, I photograph in the studio. Maternity, I photograph in the studio, but that's it usually. Like older kids, I will photograph outside. In this case, I wanted to make an exemption because I photographed them before during their first birthday. It's January, it's winter time, so we cannot schedule it outside. And the mom really wanted it for their 2nd birthday. And I thought, okay, let's just give it a try. But I did email her beforehand that it could be a little bit challenging because it's inside, because they're 2-year-old. But it turned out great. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I'd love to read your comments, and then hopefully you can see me in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye bye.